I'm like, I went to college for this shit. I have a degree. Back the fuck up.
Hi, Fletcher.
Hi.
Thanks for coming to Energy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, of course, we want to ask you about your new single, which we're playing, If You're Gonna Lie. It's this really interesting look about when you love someone even though they've maybe abused your trust. Can you take us like into your inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, If You're Gonna Lie is a song about staying in a relationship for longer than you really kind of should have. And it's kind of about like that denial phase when you would rather have that person than have them say goodbye to you, even if that means they're not necessarily like treating you right. And I was stuck kind of in a little bit of a toxic relationship at the time. And yeah, that song is just knowing that there's some like shady shit happening and you just kind of stay with that person and for you hang on to it longer than you should have, when you should have just let it go.
Sort of learning to be okay without them.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, like, If You're Gonna Lie is just like that very specific moment of just still feeling like really crazy. Like, I know they're doing all this, but like, I still want to be with this person, even though when you step back from it and then actually get perspective, you're like, I need to not. Yeah, but it's about that sort of like crazy feeling.
So what's like your perfect environment for songwriting?
Like if you've got good lighting in a room, I feel like you can really get in your feels. And also it depends, like a lot of my ideas start in the shower, which I feel like everyone comes up with their best ideas in a fucking shower, right?
Great acoustics also.
Yeah, exactly. Great acoustics. Everyone sounds way better than they actually are. There's some good reverb in there, but usually I get like, my ideas start in the shower and I'll like scramble to get out of it and grab my phone so I can record a voice memo. And then I usually get to the studio and like flush it out a bit more, but it depends. Like there's not like a set vibe that I have to have, but like something that I think is a common thread. I'm like, I really like good lighting. Also, everybody looks better in like good lighting. You know what I mean?
True that. Is that more like natural light or a bit of neon or?
No, just like this is so specific, but like I prefer like yellow light to white light. Like, no, I mean, this is this is totally fine for this setting, but like, you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah. Cool, very cool. Well, your music videos have been hailed as another step forward for LGBTQ representation. And I think it is really cool because like the kids who are coming up now, right? Like they have you, they have Haley Kiyoko, they have Troye Sivan, they have all these people. It feels like we're making progress. I mean, I think back to the chaos, like when Adam Lambert was on American Idol, definitely a few steps forward since then. But it's kind of like, as a queer artist, do you feel like there's still glass ceilings and barriers that need to be broken, or do you feel like we're finally at a point where that's becoming irrelevant?
I mean, I still think that there's so much work that needs to be done. I do think that we have come so far, like even you giving the example of Adam Lambert on American Idol, like there's been so much progress over the last few years that I feel like there's so many people that are just being unapologetically themselves and like speaking their truth, and that's something that's so important for me to do. Especially like I made it my mission to just be the artist that I needed when I was a little girl. I didn't really see that representation within just like queer female pop artists, and so that if I can just be that for one person, like that means the world to me, and like that's what success is to me. And I think there are so many people that are like using their voices and just by like being them, like changing the world. Like being yourself is the most revolutionary thing that you could do, because there's nobody else that's like you. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done specifically like within the trans community, like trans women of color are like the most marginalized and assaulted and abused like within our community. And I think I think we all just need to be using, like every artist should be using their platform to speak up for whatever it is that they're passionate about or whatever it is that their truth is. And that's how the world becomes a better, more inclusive place for representation and just human beings.
Absolutely, one story at a time. Yeah, cool. Well, I really appreciate that pop music also today is becoming maybe more openly political. I feel like pop music is sort of taking the role that maybe in the 60s folk music, protest music took, where it's not just about moving records, it's about, I'm owning my story, I'm standing up for what I believe in. You brought out a song that you sort of dedicated to the Me Too movement, and props for that. And obviously, like, listening to women is so important in the context of assault, but also in sort of the day-to-day. I'm wondering, like, you know, where you're just kind of like, yeah, listen to me, like, listen to my perspective, to my lived experience. What was the last time that someone tried to mansplain something to you?
The last time someone tried to mansplain something to me. Oh my God, I hate mansplaining so much. I was in a session recently, and when I was recording on the microphone, I said something about the vocal, like the mic having latency, which is, you know, there's like some delay between the audio coming out of my mouth and like the way that the microphone's receiving it. And he was like shocked that I like knew the term latency, and like went on this whole thing about like, then started to like further explain it. I'm like, dude, I went to college for this shit. I have a degree. Back the fuck up. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to, I wanted to put out that song, I Believe You, because I am fortunate enough to work with so many women in music, but we're still so underrepresented in every area. I mean, just in terms of the music industry, like, the statistics of 2018 were like 17% of females made up artists, 12% songwriters, 2% producers. Like, the numbers are just so skewed.
And then you look at the executives, right?
Exactly.
You're like, where's our money?
Exactly. So, I mean, just fucking give us equal pay. Come on, isn't that hard to ask? Is it too much to ask? Like, we're doing the same job and probably doing a better job at it.
Well, you said in another interview it's really important to you to surround yourself with really powerful, badass women. Can you tell us like some of your biggest idols in or outside of music, female idols?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the people growing up, I felt like I didn't have too many examples of women within like the pop space that I felt like were coloring outside of like a stereotypical box. I feel like everybody kind of like fit into this sort of package deal, and for a really long time I always thought that I wouldn't necessarily be able to like be an artist. I'm like, how am I going to make it? I don't see myself in any of these people. And so I think I looked to people on the outside. Like, I think Madonna was doing an amazing job of that. I think Lady Gaga was doing an incredible job. People like Patti Smith and Joan Jett and David Bowie, and people that just kind of like had a middle finger to the system and were just like, fuck this box that you want me to be inside of. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that, because I'm not that. And that's really powerful and really empowering. And like Janis Joplin and just like people that had voices and were using them for, you know, to talk about whatever it is that they were passionate about. And so I think there's examples, a lot of examples of people that were doing that, but those are definitely have been like some of my like big inspirations.
Very cool. And now you're doing that for the new generation. Like, one thing that really strikes me about your social media is you have this like very wholesome, engaging, beautiful relationship with your fans. And there's like a lot of positive affirmation going in both directions. It's like so nice. Does anything really stand out to you, like an interaction?
I mean, I think my favorite thing about this whole process is just like, because I've been so honest, like the people that have been listening to the music have been so honest with me in return. And it has a lot, like, it's kind of just this, like, this cycle. Like, I feel so understood and so accepted and, like, loved by them. And they're, like, loving me for just being myself and being this sort of, like, quirky, like, socially anxious, like, nervous. I don't know. Like, the fact that I just get to be myself and I'm having like positive reinforcement for that. I mean, that's all anyone ever wants at the end of the day anyway. Like, we all just want to feel like understood and loved and connected. And this world is fucking insane and like really crazy. And sometimes it's hard to even just like exist. Like, sometimes you just have to literally pat yourself on the back for being like, I got up today. You know, I opened my eyes today, like I'm breathing today. And like, if that's all you're able to do that day, that's fine. Like, that's okay.
Just be here.
Just be here, and like, thank you for being here. Like, you're needed here. But they remind. I'm lucky that I have somebody that reminds me of that, and I like to remind them that. And so it's just a big Fletcher love fest my Fletcher fam. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even get to be here in Germany talking about my music if it wasn't for them. Like, I literally, like, got on a plane because there's people over here that give a little bit of a fuck.
Well, you just brought out your new album, which has been really warmly received. Is there anything that's already in the pipeline, like next projects you're looking forward to? What's on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always writing. Like, I feel like I've been writing for my album since I was like 12. Like, my life has been like writing for my writing an album of just like experiences. And yeah, I have so much more music that I'm just like so excited about. But yeah, you were in New York City for me has definitely been, it was kind of like the closing chapter that I needed to sort of like put that relationship to bed, you know, like like it's no longer mine anymore. It's like it can be somebody else's now. And so it's definitely created space for me to be like ready for the next era and the next chapter.